All right. Not many artists have had the type of impact on rock music that my guest today has. Jerry Cantrell, lead guitarist, co-vocalist, and songwriter of Alice in Chains, one of the most influential and respected bands to emerge in the last 35 years. The new solo album, I Want Blood, co-produced by Joe Barresi, and with so many great artists playing like Rob from Metallica and Duff from Guns N' Roses. The album's out now, and you can check it at the link below. Thank you so much for being here. It's an honor to have you.
Thanks for having me, man. Yeah.
So you've been part of so much music history, and now you're joining one of the biggest shows ever, Black Sabbath's original lineup and Ozzy's final performance. I just want to ask, how'd you get the news, and what does it mean to be a part of such a historic night?
Well, we've had a long history with Ozzy, and we're all obviously big Black Sabbath and Ozzy fans, and Alice got a pretty good opportunity early in our career to go out on the road with those guys and open with them for some time. I think longer than we expected. They kept asking us to do more legs, and we're like, hell yeah, we're in. And we got a bass player out of the deal too, and Mike Inez not long after we left too. So worked out pretty good for us. And Ozzy's a sweetheart of a guy. I'm really stoked myself to see it. And trying to do those songs justice, learning a couple of cool tunes to play for the show. It's going to be fun.
That lineup is just really incredible. It's extraordinary. I've never seen anything like it, so I know it's going to be a historic moment. Talking about the solo record, which I just want to say, I cannot recommend this enough. The production on it is incredible. It sounds amazing. You produce this stuff out of your own studio?
No, we were at Joe Barresi's place out in Pasadena. I've just got a real kind of basic setup at my place to do demos and jam and stuff like that. But Joe has a great studio. This is my third record working with Joe. He's mixed the two previous, Brighton and Rainier Fog, with Alice as well. But my partner on the last record, Tyler Bates, who is still involved, to a good degree on this record as well. He wasn't going to be able to go the whole way with me. He was already committed to another project and doing a ton of movies and TV shows. So I asked Joe if he'd be, willing to go, ground up with me. And he's like, yeah, I'm totally in. And played him a couple of the ideas I was working on. And he's like, yeah, let's do this. So we went into the studio in Pasadena in January, and I think we were done. We walked out of there in April with a good record. Yeah.
And you have so many collaborators and friends on this album, and I just think it's really neat, like seemingly the camaraderie that you have with so many great artists. And what's it like to be able to bring in so many greats to have on this record playing?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I tend to kind of go with the same blueprint that I've always operated with in Alice. So, we're a group of friends and a family first, and a band and a business second. So, I operate the same way. I call my friends, and I've been able to, all the people that are on this record, you'll notice that, we've worked on multiple records together, pretty much everybody. So whether it's us working on something for me, or I'm working on a record for them, or projects for somebody else, so, it's pretty cool to be able to call on guys like, Rob Trujillo and Duff McKagan and have them show up, Mike Borden, Greg Bachado, to name a few. It's cool to be able to call those guys and have them, number one, have the time, which I've been really lucky with. You can't really plan that stuff. So it just happens to be when I'm working on some of these projects, I'm just catching these guys in between windows of legs of their band. So, they're all good friends of mine. They're all people I respect. They're some of the best musicians in the world, and they're all members of bands that I highly admire. So it's fun, and we've had experience making music together. So I think we make a pretty good racket together. So when I'm thinking about doing a record like this, I know who to call. And thankfully, they keep saying yes.
It's amazing, and to see so many of you still having so much fun, and truly, obviously, they're not, with as busy as the schedule you all keep, you're not doing it unless you love it. And it's very clear from listening to this record, it sounds fantastic. So I really enjoy it. When you think about the longevity that you've had in your career and just the incredible music that you've put out for many years now, and continue to do so. You know, did you have a sense of early on, like, was there a moment that struck you like, wow, we're gonna really take this band to the next level and it's going to exceed our expectations?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it always starts pretty small and pretty humbly, man. It's just sitting around and jamming on some riffs and stuff like that, or stumbling across an idea, you know, and then if it's something that strikes your ear or you're kind of excited about, like, you put it down, you record it, and you know, once you get into a demo process, for me, historically, that seems to be pencil out to be about the same amount of time. It's about a 3 to 4 month window of just messing around with ideas, making demos, trying stuff, putting things together. It's usually in that, you know, somewhere in the middle of that 3 to 4 months, you probably have a group of like kind of basic raw ideas, maybe a couple of songs that are maybe together and you're feeling good about. And you can start to see it kind of take shape. That's always exciting to me because I never go into any project with any group of people, Alice or with my collaborators outside of the band. I never go into any project with any sort of set idea. I just get into motion, start creating and working on some stuff and settle in for the grind, because it takes time. You know, it takes about 3-4 months to demo for me. Another maybe month or two to jam them up and get pre-pro together, organize who you're going to record it with, where you're going to go, and then once you move into the studio, that can take a matter. If you're lucky, you can. I have done a record in a week. I prefer not to do it that way, but I like to take my time working. So you're looking at another 3, 4 to 6 months, in the recording process historically for me. So that's about a 9-month window right there. And then you need a couple months to get the artwork and the vinyl and all that stuff together. So it's about a year. And then when you put it out, you're looking at hopefully a year or a year and a half of touring. So generally, when you wrap it all up, it's about a 2.5 to 3 year cycle. And you got to be committed to go all the way. There's no half measures or anything like that. So, but to get back to, it's a long-winded answer to your question of you probably start to see it take shape somewhere in the demo process. Somewhere halfway to 2/3 through the demo process, like, hey, this is some good shit here. I'm stoked about this. And then you start making some calls, like, hey, you want to come jam? And then these great people show up and you take it to the next level, and then you build it, and kind of everybody has ideas. They put their own personality and ideas into the music, and that's kind of a cool process too, because everybody kind of gets their hands in the dough, you know what I mean, and you mold it and make it into something.
And when you're writing a riff or you're involved in the songwriting or the vocal work that you do, which is also amazing, incredible vocals, I know. But was there a song that you wrote that you knew instantly that was going to carry the type of timeless way your music is held on for so many years?
I don't know that you ever know that. That's just something that has to organically and naturally happen over time. Now, I've been really fortunate to be a part of writing a few songs like that over my career, and so there's definitely a benchmark that's set, but you can't rely on your past either. All you can use it for is okay, it's got to be at least that good. So that's kind of cool. It sets the bar high. If you've got a few of those things that you've written or been a part of writing in the past. But for each project, they're years apart, so they're unique and they're separate unto themselves. But there's a handful of songs on this record. I think "Vilified" is a really important song. I think "Afterglow" is another one. "I Want Blood," obviously the title track. There's 3 or 4 more that I think are pretty standout. I mean, the whole record is pretty solid.
Yes, it is.
I don't really think it slacks anywhere, and that feels good. But yeah, what you're asking basically is, there are some standout tracks that had the chance to do that, but it's really up to people at that point. All I can do is make it as good as I can, or myself within the group make it as good as we can. We're like, we can listen to it, look at it, and go like, there's nothing more we can do. This is as good as we can do. It's as good as we can make it right now. It's as close to perfect as it'll ever be. And so if you're checking that box off for yourself, you got a good shot at a song maybe having some legs like that. And then it just takes time, time and getting out there and planning for people, letting the music make connections with people, and getting in their face and going all over the world and playing it for them, and who knows, maybe it turns into one of those songs.
Absolutely. And I think that it just, the work speaks for itself. Talking about your live show, I'm so excited to see the show tonight, and I've seen Alice in Chains many times. It seems like from the very beginning, the band was just naturally a live band. And, I was watching a former clip of in the early 90s covering Sweet Leaf from Black Sabbath. Yeah. And now you're playing at their final.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah, that was pretty good one. Good to see.
I mean, if you could go back in time and talk to yourself from back then, and knowing what you know now, you're going to play Ozzy's final show, Black Sabbath's original lineup, and I just can't get over that.
Yeah.
That lineup is shocking.
Yeah.
What would you say?
I mean, it's pretty cool. Life's really interesting. It's a journey. It's a long ride for most of us. And you go through a lot of changes, and you get a lot of opportunities, man. If you put in the work to try to do something that I don't know, that means something to you, that you're excited about, I think it works out for you more times than it doesn't. You know what I mean? And you're going to need a little luck here and there, but I think it really, really comes down to effort and commitment. You know what I mean? So, you're hoping to be one of those bands like Black Sabbath, like that's going to still do a show in their hometown, you know what I mean? Like to be around for 5-6 decades. I mean, that's the benchmark, and that's something that's good to shoot for. And, and in Alice, we're going into our 4th decade. So we've been around a minute, and we've been through, a lot of stuff too. And we're still going. So, one foot in front of the other, and keep at it. I mean, who knows where you can go, it's been a fun ride so far. I'm still enjoying what I do, and I think I'm operating at a pretty high level, and I've never really felt, I've never really had any sort of I guess, lucky that I've never really had a question that I should be doing something else or whatever. I mean, like, this is what I was put here to do, is saying I'm doing it. So I feel pretty lucky about that.
Jerry Cantrell, I know you're very busy today, so I want to thank you for your time. It's an honor to have you. The new record is fantastic. Everybody, I strongly recommend this album. Check it out. The link in the description is fantastic. Looking forward to the show tonight.
Go get you some blood, man.
Yes, sir.